With Super Smash Bros. Ultimate out, the list of great Nintendo Switch games has become so dense that we struggled to let very good titles out. There are just too many great games on the Nintendo Switch. But if there is one trend you will see, then it is that game compilations and graphical remasters have been left out from this list and will be shown in the honorable mentions. But without further ado, these are our top 10 Nintendo Switch games following the launch of Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. At the beginning of 2018, we were expecting that Yoshi and Fire Emblem would come out this year, and that we will also likely get the core Pokemon RPG. Well, all of these were pushed to 2019. But luckily for Pokemon, we got another title in the form of Pokemon Let's Go.
Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee brought us back to Kanto for a reimagined adventure, though with a little simplified formula and some truly immersive accessories. Despite lack of regular wild Pokemon battles, Let's Go managed to surprise us positively with engaging gameplay, a beautifully recreated Kanto, and some very nostalgic encounters with ties both to the anime and the first generation of Pokemon titles and the Game Boy Advance remakes. With that said, Pokemon Let's Go wouldn't have been on the same level without its solid post-game. The latter one for a massive extension of a title that we thought we knew all too well, and offered challenging master-trainer battles that even experienced Pokemon players could appreciate. The post-game and the filling out of the Pokemon gap is also the reason why we find Pokemon Let's Go worthy to open this list at number 10.
Just like Rareware back in the 90s for Nintendo, Retro has still not disappointed us when it comes to their productions from the Metroid Prime trilogy to Donkey Kong Country Returns and Tropical Freeze. So far, only the most recent Wii U title is playable on the Nintendo Switch, but my, what a game it is. Tropical Freeze offers some of the most satisfying, but at the same time challenging platforming and boss battles found on the system. This was also probably the reason why Funky Kong and the meme-worthy Funky Mode were added to this excellent remaster, to make it more accessible for those who found the Wii U version too punishing. We will just say that this port is excellent, and all its additions, plus the Switch's portability, truly bring out the best the franchise has to offer. And we can't wait to see a future new Donkey Kong game on the Nintendo Switch.
Square Enix has been really fair as of late to Nintendo. First they allowed to add Cloud into the Super Smash Bros. Family, then made Octopath Traveler and The World Ends With You Final Remix Switch exclusives, and if that wasn't enough, they are bringing a load of Final Fantasy titles to the Nintendo Switch. Now, The World Ends With You Final Remix is great, but it's just a remix, and Octopath Traveler is definitely a worthy inclusion on this list, mostly for its art style, setting of Ostera, gameplay, and story. Correct, this is a classic choice turn-based 2.5D RPG, with, as the title states, 8 playable paths, protagonists and endings, setting up for multiple playthroughs and experimentation with different team members that inherit individual traits and skill.
One playthrough of Octopath Traveler is simply not enough, because in order to reach the true ending of the game, you have to beat all 8 paths and build a strong enough bond between the protagonists to bring down the greatest challenge of them all. To keep it brief, Splatoon 2 fixed everything that was lacking during the launch of Splatoon, with more stages, customization options, redefined single player, and the new Salmon Run mode. However, just like Splatoon, this was just the beginning of a long line of Splatfests, free updates, and the massive paid Octo expansion that added some incredible tracks like this one. Seriously, if there is one game besides Smash that has the competitive edge, then it is Splatoon 2, with excellent matchmaking and the Elite X rank, while remaining a fun and engaging experience for the casual player. Unfortunately, Splatoon 2 peaked this summer, and after Nintendo Switch Online became a paid service, the game has been ruined for many, in particular, younger players. Mostly because the single-player content in the game is very slim compared to the endless paid online portions of Splatoon 2. Most Nintendo Switch games with online have been hit by the paid online. Luckily, not all titles have suffered as much as Splatoon 2, including
Improving on nearly everything the Wii U bestseller lacked, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is without a doubt the ultimate Mario Kart experience, well, until the next title in the series drops, which is likely far into development. But with that being said, Deluxe is a value package rarely seen, with all the 48 original and paid DLC tracks from Mario Kart 8, new characters, new vehicles, dual items, though this is more than a little unbalanced, and obviously way too fast 200cc speed settings. But most importantly, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe brought a proper and most likely best battle mode in the series. With it, a whole new layer was added to the game with 8 new and returning battle stages and 5 battle modes. Close to all of these are top-notch and best of all, playable online. And yes, just like with Splatoon 2, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe has been impacted by the introduction of paid Nintendo Switch Online, but to a much lesser degree, and as such, it places higher on this list.
At the beginning of the year, we were graced by an indie gem known as Celeste. At first glance, it looked like a fun platformer with some tight controls, great level design, and sometimes infuriating difficulty akin to Super Meat Boy. To our fortune, it turned out to be just that, but something much, much more. First off, of course the gameplay of Celeste is great. You will be climbing to the top of Celeste Mountain using jumping and dashing powers. It controls like a dream, and every mistake you make actually feels like your fault and not the game's. That said, beneath the amazing gameplay of Celeste comes a simple, yet amazing story that tackles issues you normally wouldn't expect a game like this to tackle. Our protagonist Madeline is your average everyday person struggling with mental health. She deals with anxiety, depression, and they are personified within a dark antagonist that will prevent you from getting to the top. The themes are simple, but they hit very close to home for a ton of people. Celeste won Indie Game of the Year at the Game Awards for a very good reason. Aside from it being fun, it has also helped people cope with their own issues through its story, and that is something worth celebrating.
We saw the Wii era end with one of the greatest JRPGs of all time, and the Switch era began with the best possible follow-up to said title. Xenoblade Chronicles 2 dazzled players when it came out at the end of 2017 with several hundreds of hours of quality content in its main quest, and another 60 plus hours if you decided to pay for its massive expansion in 2018. The long journey to Elysium from Titan to Titan with Pyra and Mithra may not be for everyone, but for those who love action JRPGs, there's nothing better out there as the real-time combat and progression puts most modern JRPGs to shame.
The game shines like no other in the story and character department.
Pervert!
With troubled backstories, massive plot twists, and some A+++ waifus.
Shut up!
Combined, the gameplay, the story, and the characters made Xenoblade Chronicles 2 the best-selling entry in the series and one of the best titles on the Nintendo Switch, missing the podium ever so slightly to some true video game legends. But first, let's have a look at some honorable titles that narrowly missed our list. Choosing among the Switch's 3 best titles was tough. So tough that we have had 2 game versus game episodes to determine what game ranks supreme over the rest. And for Super Mario Odyssey, it was very close, but it has to settle for bronze. Don't get us wrong, Super Mario Odyssey is a masterpiece with fantastic and groundbreaking gameplay for the Mario series, along with an amazing and varied soundtrack and even an engaging plot. This game is 3D Mario at its best, with varied and at times bizarre kingdoms, ranging from traditional desert levels to the Nintendo version of New York City with its Mayor Pauline and far beyond. However, just like Pokemon Let's Go, Super Mario Odyssey's true power lies in its post-game, with additional kingdoms, boss battles, and demanding moon challenges. Super Mario Odyssey is just what it should be, and though not all kingdoms are a direct hit when it comes to its content, what works so well that it is a must-own title. And partially thanks to some small but free DLC updates, the true Odyssey of video games was, until recently, Nintendo Switch's greatest exclusive.
The runner-up on this list is Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, and it knocked out Super Smash Bros. Odyssey out of the contest for the Golden Crown with sheer numbers. 103 stages, 69 fighters, 7 Echo Fighters, a massive brand new World of Light adventure mode, a revamped classic mode and over 800 music tracks to enjoy, both from your TV and on the go. This game is a true product of passion from Masahiro Sakurai-san, who has made impossible possible when it comes to bringing every past fighter in Smash's 20-year-long history back, updating a number of these, and include new fighters such as Simon Belmont and bosses like Dracula. Though the free launch content is already out with exception of Piranha Plant, which is on the way, Nintendo has still to release some of its massive and shocking paid DLC packs for the game, such as Persona 5's Joker, a stage and the soundtracks from the same game, and 4 additional franchise packs that are set to shock and be deeply satisfying. But with that said,
it is truly the ultimate Super Smash Bros. Experience, with the most balanced gameplay in the series. Even so, it does have a few problems, such as turning World of Light into a too long crawl and the online portions of the game which in many ways lag behind the experience found in Splatoon 2. As previously stated, placing the podium was hard, and selecting number 1 and 2 on this list required us to make a separate video altogether. So if you want some in-depth arguments as to why we put one title over the other, then make sure to check out our recent special Smash Bros. Ultimate vs. Zelda Breath of the Wild Game vs. Game episode after this video is done.
some games change an entire industry and makes us rethink what this industry is truly about. The Legend of Zelda has always been one of the greatest treasures in the video game world, but had lost much of its glory until it was reclaimed by The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild in 2017, and then through good expansion passes that extended the masterpiece that is this game. Rethinking the entire concept of the Zelda franchise, the game broke most conventions that were known in the franchise's over 30-year-long history and delivered a gameplay experience that, with the exception of a few setbacks, can be described as nothing but game-changing.
The reimagined and technological world of Hyrule after the first hour at the Great Plateau has nearly no limitations, because Link is free to fight, hunt, climb, glide, cook, burn, blow up, defy the physics of our own world, and complete tasks in every order we see it fit. We can praise Breath of the Wild for so much, but if there is one thing that makes it ruin other open worlds, then it is its organic approach to the open-air design, where literally the only boundary is the sky, and underwater since you can't swim for some reason. Yes, this all came at a price in the form of a much more scattered and fragmented story, and dungeons that put off many players, but the overworld content within its 100+ shrines and endless customization options makes this game a one-of-a-kind experience. However, the most crucial change of all was a dreaded, but at the same time intriguing, cyclic mechanic, the Blood Moon, which revives all non-boss slain enemies and mini-bosses, making sure that the world of Hyrule will never be empty of combat opportunities. And there you have it, our top 10 Nintendo Switch games as of December 2018. If you enjoyed this video, then please leave a like, and if you are new, then make sure to subscribe to the Commonwealth Realm and press that shiny notification bell to not miss any of our uploads in 2019, which we aim to turn into a great year for all of us. And we will go deep into Nintendo's possibly strongest year with Roger's Base in a few days, so make sure to be subscribed. Finally, we want to thank all our great and loyal patrons, and in particular, royal producer Kenyatta Ali. You can join them too by heading over to patreon.com/commonrealm to support our future productions and enter the big Pokemon and Super Smash Bros. Ultimate giveaway. Until the next video, this was Conrad Varnez and Joseph Ferris of the Commonwealth Realm, and we will see you girls and guys in the next one.